I'm going to give you as much information as I have about the upcoming easement agreement transaction. So Lake Thomas Point has a community dock that sets in state submerged lands. So Lake Thomas is required to lease the use of the water, and that is through the state. Our lease term was May 31st of 2011 to May 31st of 2021. At the 5-year mark, we were required to have a site inspection. And so in 2016, DEP came out, performed a site inspection, and our community passed. This effort from some lake lot owners to be gifted the land of Tract B has made its way all the way to the top at the state level of DEP. And this has alerted them to some issues that they didn't notice during their site inspection in 2016. I personally spoke with a few of the personnel in Tallahassee, and I was told, to be honest with you, this may have never been caught had all of these calls not been made. So basically what we're looking at is DEP is now aware that against our lease conditions, several other docks were built on Tract B. Our lease condition states that the only approved dock is the community dock, and any other alterations to that area in state submerged lands would require approval, which we did not apply for. It should also be noted that our community documents, our declarations, our bylaws, they have no language that speaks of docks being allowed or not allowed. So there are no approvals on file from the HOA for any of the docks that have been built, nor are there any Pasco County permits on file for any of the docks that have been built, including the community dock. Docks built from 2010 to present in Pasco County required a county permit. Before I proceed on how the HOA is trying to fix this, I want to recap for you the things that have not been done properly. The county recorded our Lake Thomas Point community plat showing that our HOA owns out into the waters. Now, this has become an issue that DEP in the state level has noticed. They are confused how that even got recorded when, according to them, we can't possibly own out into the water because the state owns it. So that's an issue they want corrected. Docks were built without county permits. In 2016, SwiftMud allowed dock owners to self-certify for exemptions. Now the state is saying that was incorrect, that there is no way possible that individual dock owners could have self-certified because they do not have riparian rights. Their docks were built on lands that they do not own. And DEP passed our lease inspection in 2016 and now is stating that it was done in error. Now we can talk about the easement agreement, which is a resolution to some of these issues. So should the HOA do nothing and just ask for a renewal as is, the remaining docks that have been built are on HOA-owned land and would have to go under our current community dock lease. So that would increase the price. I know our dock lease now is, I think it's roughly $600. It can go up into the thousands, adding these other dock leases. However, for the state to calculate what the new rental agreement fee would be, they would require surveying of all the docks to assist them in making that calculation. So there would be surveying fees, modification to the lease fees, and in my opinion, those fees naturally would be passed on proportionately to the dock owners. As I had mentioned in a previous video, we have a provision in our documents called specific assessments, and it seems in this case that would apply. These fees are being incurred due to the actions of others, which is the construction of a dock. I don't understand the logic of expecting the entire neighborhood to absorb the cost, legal fees, survey fees, and permit fees involved in the construction of these docks. However, other board members disagree with that. And that's where you should be very interested in knowing what is going on with this easement agreement and who is paying for the fees. So, if we don't want all of these docks to go under the community lease, then the other option from the state was to write up an easement agreement. So if each of those dock owners has an easement to legally access their docks, then they are showing the state that they have an interest in the uplands. And once they provide that, it's my understanding that they can qualify for those exemptions they previously applied for. When I was on the board, I had mentioned that we should be keeping the legal expenses that specifically pertain to the dock lease and these unapproved docks that were constructed. We should keep those legal fees separate so that we later can bill them directly to the dock owners proportionately. And I was met with resistance, and I do not believe that they are separating those legal fees out. It doesn't, according to my records requests and from conversations I had as a board member, it doesn't sound like the board has any intention to pass those costs along to the responsible parties. So that would mean that we all are paying all the legal fees involved in this resolution.